So you're ready to hit the road with your new Dryft board. Before you go out, make sure to always run through your pre-ride checklist. This is something all the pros do, whether it's race car driving, motorcycles, or any other action sport. Performing your pre-ride checklist is going to ensure that you will have all of the necessary components for a safe ride. So how do we get into our pre-ride checklist? Well, we have a mantra called "We Be Ready." So the W stands for check your wheels, B is to check your brakes, and R is to check your quick release mechanism. So let's break it down step by step. First up, the wheels. We're going to gently roll the Dryft board onto one side and inspect each wheel. And we can start with the edge wheel. Look at the axle nut. Make sure that you see multiple threads sticking out beyond the axle nut. Spin the wheels, they should move freely. And now check the caster wheel. This is that center wheel on the board. You're going to want to test the axles by placing your fingers on each side of the axle nuts and trying to rotate them in opposite directions. Now, if they move, that means the axle is not tight enough and it's not safe to ride. If you're wanting to slide, make sure that the caster wheel is free spinning and it's able to rotate 360 degrees. Or if you want to go into carve mode, rotate the caster wheel 180 degrees backward and set the ride selector switch accordingly. Next, you're going to flip the board to the other side carefully so that you can inspect the other edge wheel and repeat the process. Ensure that multiple threads are visible, the axle nut is hand tight, and the wheel spins freely. Finally, it's time to check our last wheel, the front wheel. Go ahead and give the front wheel a grab to make sure that it feels firm. Check the tire pressure and ensure that it's at its recommended PSI. You can see the number printed on the side of the tire. Inspect the tire for wear. If you see any fabric or material protruding through the rubber, it's time to get a new tire. You don't want to ride when your tire's in this state. Okay, so we've done our wheels check. Now it's time to move on to the brakes. Turn the battery on by pressing the battery power for 3 seconds. You'll know that it's on when your frame slider light and brake lights are lit up. Squeeze the brake lever and check to make sure that the brake lights get brighter. If they don't, the brake system is not ready. Another way to check the brakes is if you push the Dryft board while holding the brake lever, the board should not move. If it rolls, the brakes need attention before you ride. So we've checked our wheels, we've checked our brakes, and now it's time to get into the quick release mechanism. This step is critical. You're going to want to ensure that the quick release lever is perfectly parallel to the board. Try to lift it, get your finger in there and try to yank it up and make sure that it doesn't budge. Check for any gaps. There should be no space between the pin and the pin receiver. Inspect the pin itself, and you should see that part of it engaged through the gaps. If the lever moves or the pin isn't secure, your quick release is not ready. Never ride with a loose or a disengaged lever. We be ready. Wheels, brakes, release. We're all checked and we're good to go. Your pre-ride checklist is complete. Now it's time to get you set up for a safe ride.